Hosuk Lee-Makiyama is a senior fellow at the London School of Economics. Great to have you on the programme again, and my goodness, we've got lots to talk about. Let's start with Donald Trump, because that timeline keeps shifting. Those 90 deals that the White House said would be done in 90 days haven't materialised. So when or will Trump get what he wants?
Well, first you have to tell me what Donald Trump wants, and that's something for psychologists and trade negotiators everywhere, I think. I mean, trade negotiation is not a business where you actually tell your counterparts or Twitter what you actually want, because you are often exaggerating your demands in order to you aim for the move and end up somewhere in the treetops. And this is very much the case, that we are dealing with a self-aggrandising negotiator in charge, and who is not really clear about what he wants. But he has achieved a couple of things. And first of all, we have a couple of interim agreements that seem to be ready. And if we talk to inside sources in Washington, we see that already in the lines of 10, 15 interim agreements are more or less ready to go on Donald Trump's desk. And also, very important factor here is that he has broken the entire trading system that he felt was working against him. That's something he has actually achieved.
But then you see, Hosuk, I'm looking at these visits, Wang Yi going around Europe, preparing to go to Egypt. It makes me think, look, is there a feeling that traditional US allies like the EU, like Japan, will maybe capitulate because that trade relationship with the US is so important? Or will they start to prioritise other partners too?
I think at least when it comes to Japan and Europe, I think it's very fair to say that they have prioritized other markets for quite a while now. Diversification has been their name of the game for a very long time, even before the pandemic and before the geopolitical tension started. And it's just a question about where the business can find growth. And of course, when it comes to trade opportunities, Japan in particular has two major markets, United States and China, very closely, and it's very competitive, and they can choose where they want to go. And ideally, they want to go both, or at least to the country that is offering as much opportunities as possible.
This has all been about reclaiming America's destiny, making America great again. But has Trump's trade policy made US companies more or less competitive globally? Or do you think we need maybe a longer-term view here?
I don't necessarily think it's a question about whether American companies have become more or less competitive. One factor remains true, which is that US companies are the most productive and most technology advanced in the world. The question is not so much about the companies, but it's actually a question about the national economy. What I think the Republicans, as well as the Democrats, before Donald Trump came in, trying to achieve is complete re-engineering the American macro from a import-driven and consumption-driven society with heavy debt into something that looks perhaps a little bit more like Europe, lower consumption, slightly more government spending, and a slightly smaller trade deficit. So we are looking at perhaps more of a macro revolution than a trade revolution, if I may say.
Hosuk Lee-Makiyama at the London School of Economics, thank you ever so much.